The silent vanguard. The main battle cruiser Dauntless hung in the void like a wounded predator, its port side ravaged by plasma burns, multiple decks exposed to the vacuum of space. Lieutenant Commander Ilara Reeves stood at the observation deck, her weathered face illuminated by the distant explosions as another human colony fell to the Krell Armée. 17 worlds lost in 6 months. Billions dead or enslaved. "They've taken Proxima Centauri," she said flatly, hands clasped behind her back, stance rigid despite the exhaustion that seeped through her bones. "New Eden is gone." Admiral Cato nodded silently beside her, his aged face a mask of controlled despair. What had begun as border skirmishes had escalated into humanity's potential extinction event. The Krell Empire, an ancient spacefaring civilization with organic synthetic technology centuries beyond Earth's capabilities, had declared humans an evolutionary dead end, a wasteful species unworthy of the stars. "The Council has made their decision." Kaido finally spoke, his voice barely above a whisper. "We're pulling back all remaining forces to Artemis. It's our final defensive line." Ilara's jaw tightened. Artemis is a fortress world, but it can't withstand the full might of the Krell forever. We need to strike back, not just retreat, and wait for death. That's why I've summoned you. The Admiral turned, eyes suddenly sharp with purpose. Ghost Squad is being activated for a mission that will likely be one way. Ghost Squad. 8 operatives trained beyond the limits of human endurance. Enhanced reflexes, augmented strength, neural implants that could interface with any known technology. Ilara was their commander, the architect of their impossible victories in missions deemed suicidal by conventional military standards. "Show me," was all she said. Dr. Marcus Chen looked like he hadn't slept in a week, dark circles under his eyes contrasting against the pale skin of his face. The holographic display before him pulsed with alien script and biological readings that made little sense to anyone but him. "The Krell aren't just technologically superior," Chen explained to the assembled Ghost Squad in the Dauntless's secure briefing room. "They're biologically integrated with their technology. Every ship, every weapon, every soldier is connected through a quantum neural network." On the display, a schematic of a Krell warrior rotated slowly, 3 meters tall, exoskeletal armor grafted directly to muscle tissue, 4 arms carrying weapons that could slice through battlefield armor like paper. "Impossible to defeat conventionally," growled Sergeant Rex Donovan, Ghost Squad's demolitions expert, his scared face twisted in disgust. "Yes, but their strength is also their vulnerability," Chen continued, swiping to bring up a new image, a glowing node that pulsed like a heart. "This is their central command nexus. It's biological technology, a living quantum computer that coordinates their entire war machine. Destroy it, and we sever their neural connection." Their ships become uncoordinated, Ilara realized, leaning forward. Their warriors lose tactical advantages. More than that, Chen corrected. Their entire society would collapse into chaos. The neural network isn't just military. It's their civilization's foundation. It's kept in their most secure installation at the heart of their fleet. Commander Zhang, Ghost Squad's tactical officer, shook her head. "Impossible to reach. We'd need an entire battle fleet just to get close, and we don't have one anymore." "Actually," Chen smiled thinly, "we don't need a fleet. We need one ship, small, undetectable, and carrying a payload I've been developing." The doctor brought up another hologram, a device the size of a backpack, pulsing with an eerie blue light. "A quantum disruptor," he explained. "It won't just destroy the Nexus. It'll send a cascading feedback loop through their entire network. Every connected Krell will feel it. Their minds will literally burn out." The room fell silent. It wasn't just a weapon. It was extinction-level genocide against an enemy that had shown humanity no mercy. "How do we deliver it?" Ilara finally asked, her voice steady despite the weight of what they were contemplating. "That's where Ghost Squad comes in." Admiral Cato stepped forward. We've captured a Krell scout ship intact. Dr. Chen has modified it to mask your biosignatures. You'll infiltrate their command structure and deploy the device manually. Ilara studied the faces of her team, the people she'd fought alongside for years, who'd followed her through hell and back. They'd all lost something to the Krell. Family, friends, homes. Their eyes held no hesitation, only cold resolve. "When do we leave?" she asked. "Immediately," the Admiral replied. "Artemis can hold for 2 weeks at most. After that, humanity ends." The stolen Krell scout ship slipped silently between the behemoths of the alien armada, its modified systems broadcasting identification codes scavenged from destroyed Krell vessels. Inside the cramped confines, Ghost Squad sat in tense silence, each member running final checks on their equipment. Ilara reviewed the mission parameters one last time on her neural display. The Krell Central Command was a massive space station orbiting a dead star, a structure half-built, half-grown, its organic components periodically pulsing with internal light like a beating heart. 30 minutes to insertion point, announced Lieutenant Maya Santos, their pilot, her fingers dancing across the alien controls with practiced precision despite their organic, constantly shifting nature. "Comms check," Ilara ordered, and each member of Ghost Squad sounded off in sequence. "Weapons specialist, good to go," came the cool voice of Lieutenant Kira Chen, no relation to the doctor, her modified sniper rifle secured across her back. "Demolitions, ready," grunted Donovan, patting the explosive charges strapped to his chest. "Medical, prepped," confirmed Dr. Amara Okafor, the team's combat surgeon whose hands could both heal and kill with equal efficiency. "Tech support, systems green," reported Lieutenant James Cooper, his eyes closed as his neural implants communicated directly with both their equipment and the stolen ship. "Tactical, standing by," nodded Commander Zhang, her artificial eyes scanning multiple data feeds simultaneously. "Heavy weapons, locked and loaded," rumbled Sergeant Victor Petrov, a mountain of a man cradling a rotary plasma cannon that most soldiers couldn't even lift. "Infiltration, invisible as always," whispered Lieutenant Rico Alvarez, the team's stealth specialist, already half-faded into the shadows despite the ship's bright interior. Ilara nodded, a surge of pride cutting through her anxiety. The best of humanity, about to risk everything on a desperate gamble. "We all know the stakes," she said simply. "This isn't just about revenge, though God knows we've earned that. This is about giving humanity a future. The Krell believe we're weak, a biological dead end. Today we prove them wrong." She touched the quantum disruptor secured in her pack, feeling its slight vibration against her fingertips, the weapon that could end a species, or save one. 20 minutes to insertion, Santos reported, her voice tight with tension. Through the view screen, the Krell command station loomed larger, its organic metallic surface rippling like muscle tissue beneath skin. Tentacle-like appendages extended from its central mass, each one housing weapons capable of vaporizing battleships. "Incoming transmission," Cooper suddenly announced, his body going rigid as his neural implants processed the alien communication. They're requesting verification codes." The temperature in the cabin seemed to drop by 10 degrees. "Can you spoof it?" Ilara asked sharply. Cooper's eyes fluttered behind closed lids. "Working on it. Their systems are adaptive, evolving even as I." He suddenly gasped, blood trickling from his nose. "Got it. Sent a corrupted authentication packet. They'll think it's a data error, not an infiltration attempt." Santos exhaled shakily. "They're backing off. Docking permissions granted." Ilara nodded grimly. "Final equipment check. Remember, we stay together until we reach the central core, then split into assigned teams. The disruptor needs to be placed directly into their nexus chamber." As the ship glided toward an organic-looking docking port that seemed to breathe and pulse, Ilara sent a final encrypted transmission back to the Dauntless. "Ghost Squad is going dark. Initiating Operation Lazarus. If we succeed, look for the light show. If we fail, make our sacrifice mean something. The docking clamps engaged with a sound like teeth grinding against bone. The team rose as one, weapons ready, faces set in determination. For Earth, Ilara whispered and led them into the belly of the beast. The last transmission from Admiral Cato came through her neural implant as they approached the airlock. The hopes of humanity go with you, Ghost Squad. Make them remember why they should have feared us. Then they were inside, moving through corridors that seemed to breathe, past walls that pulsed with alien fluids. 8 shadows against the strange bioluminescent light, carrying extinction for either their enemy or themselves. The next hours would determine which species had truly reached its evolutionary dead end. Ashes of Empire. The interior of the Krell command station defied human architectural logic. Corridors branched and merged like blood vessels, the walls themselves pulsing with a faint rhythm that reminded Ilara of a heartbeat. Ghost Squad moved in perfect formation, their modified stealth technology rendering them nearly invisible to the station's organic sensors. Lieutenant Alvarez took point, his enhanced vision mapping the strange layout as they progressed deeper. 2 Krell sentries ahead, he whispered through the neural comm. Heavy variant, neural augments visible. Ilara signaled for the team to hold position. The Krell warriors stood 3 meters tall, their chitinous exoskeletons gleaming under the bioluminescent lighting. What had once been a naturally evolved species now existed as biomechanical horrors, their original forms enhanced with grafted weapons and neural interfaces that connected them directly to the hive mind. "Can we bypass?" she asked. Alvarez shook his head. "Not without adding 20 minutes to our route." Time they didn't have. Every second inside the station increased their chance of discovery. "Take them," Ilara ordered. Silent. Kira Chen moved forward, her sniper rifle configured to short-range silent mode. She inhaled once, held it, and fired 2 shots in rapid succession. The specialized ammunition penetrated precisely where the organic components of the Krell warriors met their mechanical augmentations, their one vulnerability. Both collapsed without a sound, thick ichor pooling beneath their twitching forms. "Clear," Chen reported. They moved forward, dragging the bodies into a recessed alcove. The station's walls seemed to react to the dead Krell, tendrils extending from the surface to envelop the corpses. "It's consuming them," Dr. Okafor observed with clinical detachment. "Recycling organic matter. This whole station is alive," Commander Jiang noted, consulting the bioratings on her tactical display. "The walls, the floors, all organic technology. Which means it can probably sense intruders if we're not careful," Ilara concluded. "Keep moving. We need to reach the central core before they realize something's wrong." 3 levels down, Ghost Squad encountered their first major obstacle, a massive chamber filled with what appeared to be processing units, each one containing a suspended Krell connected via thick cables to the station's systems. "What are we looking at, Doc?" Ilara asked. Okafor studied the readings on her medical scanner. "They're in some kind of suspended animation. Their brains are fully active, but their bodies are dormant. I think they're processing nodes, living computers." The entire station is a neural network, Cooper realized, his own implants buzzing with the proximity to so much biotech. These Krell volunteered to become part of the station itself. Sergeant Donovan spat quietly. "Fanatics." "No," came a strange, halting voice from the shadows. "Prisoners." Ghost Squad spun as one, weapons rising in perfect unison, only to freeze at the sight before them. A Krell, smaller than the warriors they'd encountered, with fewer mechanical augmentations, stepped into view, upper limbs raised in what appeared to be surrender. "You are humans," it said, its translator device producing stilted but understandable English. "You should not be here. This place means death for your kind." "Seems like it means death for yours too," Ilara replied cautiously, her weapon trained on the alien's center mass. The Krell's compound eyes flickered with an emotion Ilara couldn't identify. I am skeptical. Once scientist, now dissident. There are others like me. We oppose the Overmind's decision to eradicate humanity. Why should we believe you? Zhang demanded. Because I can guide you to the Nexus core, Chekthul replied. And because I bear this. He slowly reached into a compartment in his exoskeleton and withdrew a familiar object, a human military insignia. Lieutenant Cooper inhaled sharply. That's Captain Rodriguez's badge. From the Intrepid. The Intrepid, one of the first human ships lost when the war began, presumed destroyed with all hands. Some humans survive, Chekthul confirmed. Hidden. Protected by those of us who resist the Overmind's directives. The Krell were not always conquerors. Before the Overmind, we were explorers, scientists. Some remember this truth. Ilara studied the alien carefully, weighing the risks against desperate need. They had limited time and an unfamiliar, massive station to navigate. If you betray us, she said finally, death will be the kindest outcome for you. Chekthul's mandibles clicked in what might have been amusement. Death awaits us all in this place. The question is merely whether it serves purpose. The dissident Krell led them through maintenance passages and restricted areas, avoiding major concentrations of Krell warriors. Twice they had to engage enemy patrols, and each time Ghost Squad executed with lethal precision, leaving no survivors to raise alarms. The Nexus core lies beyond the next chamber, Chekthul explained as they paused at a sealed doorway. It is heavily guarded. The Overmind will sense your presence once you enter. Then we go loud, Ilara decided. Donovan, prepare breaching charges. Petrov, you'll take point with the heavy cannon. Zhang, tactical support. The rest of us will move in staggered formation. As Ghost Squad prepared for assault, Chekthul watched with alien curiosity. You humans move as one mind, yet each retains independence. This is why the Overmind fears you. What do you mean? Ilar asked, checking her plasma rifle's charge. The Krell achieve unity through the neural network, but lost individuality. The Overmind believes this is evolution's end goal, perfect unification. But your species achieves coordination while maintaining separate thoughts. The Overmind sees this as disturbing, a threat to its worldview. Donovan snorted as he planted explosives on the sealed door. So we're being exterminated over a philosophical disagreement. All wars are, at their core, Chekthul replied. Charges set, Donovan reported, stepping back. On your mark, Commander. Ilara took a deep breath, feeling the weight of humanity's future pressing down upon her shoulders. Deploy on my signal. 3, 2, 1. Execute. The charges detonated with a thunderous roar, blasting the reinforced door inward. Petrov charged through the smoking breach, his rotary plasma cannon spitting death in a wide arc. The chamber beyond erupted into chaos. Krell warriors scrambling to respond, organic alarms wailing with a sound like tortured screams. Ghost Squad poured through the opening, each member moving to pre-assigned positions with mechanical precision. Kira Chen took up a sniper position on an elevated platform, methodically eliminating Krell commanders identified by their distinctive neural crests. Alvarez disappeared into the shadows, reappearing moments later behind enemy lines to sow confusion and death. The chamber itself was massive, a cathedral-like space dominated by a pulsing, crystalline structure at its center. Suspended within the crystal was a Krell unlike any they'd seen before. Larger, more extensively augmented, its body merged completely with the station's systems. The Overmind, Chekthul whispered, voice trembling with what might have been fear or reverence. The air suddenly filled with a psychic pressure, a presence pushing against their minds with terrible force. Cooper cried out, dropping to one knee as blood streamed from his nose and ears. It's attempting to access our neural implants, he gasped, fighting to maintain consciousness. Shields up, Ilara ordered, activating the psionic defenses Dr. Chen had installed in their equipment. The pressure receded, but didn't disappear entirely. You bring abomination into TAK's sacred core, boomed a voice that seemed to emanate from everywhere at once, not heard with ears, but felt within the mind itself. Your extinction is mandated by evolutionary law. Evolution isn't a law, Ilara shouted back, advancing steadily toward the crystal structure even as she fired at approaching Krell warriors. It's a process, one that favors adaptation and diversity, not homogeneity. In Kiorixiti, perfection requires unity. Your kind will neverage it. You are DSCORDJ in Holmar. The battle intensified around them. Dr. Okafor worked frantically to stabilize Cooper, while the rest of Ghost's squad fought with desperate intensity against waves of Krell defenders. Despite their superior training and equipment, they were vastly outnumbered. Petrov, clear us a path to the crystal, Ilara commanded. The big Russian nodded grimly and stepped forward, his massive weapon unleashing devastation in a wide arc. For Earth, he roared, voice nearly drowned out by the thunderous barrage. Krell bodies piled before him, but the alien showed no fear, surging forward in suicidal waves. One managed to get close enough to plunge a bladed limb into Petrov's side. He didn't flinch, just grabbed the creature by its neck and crushed its exoskeleton with his augmented strength before collapsing to one knee. I can hold here, he growled through gritted teeth as Okafor rushed to his side. Get to the crystal. Ilara nodded once and signaled to the remaining team members. Final push. Cover me. She sprinted toward the crystal structure, the quantum disruptor now activated and humming with energy in her pack. Around her, Ghost Squad fought with the desperate fury of those with nothing left to lose. Lieutenant Maya Santos fell, her legs severed by a Krell energy blade. Commander Jang took a hit that shattered her tactical visor and the eye behind it, but continued firing with mechanical precision. Just meters from the crystal, Ilara's path was blocked by a massive Krell guardian. Twice the size of normal warriors, its body more machine than organic. You will not pass. The Overmind's voice resonated from the creature. Watch me, Ilara snarled, dodging the first sweeping attack with augmented reflexes. The guardian was fast, impossibly fast, but Ilara had trained her entire life for this moment. She rolled beneath another strike, came up inside the creature's reach, and planted an explosive charge on its central nervous system cluster before diving away. The detonation tore the guardian apart, showering Ilara with alien ichor and mechanical fragments. She staggered to her feet, ears ringing, vision blurred, but still moving forward. Finally, she stood before the crystal, the Overmen suspended within staring down at her with compound eyes that seemed to contain galaxies. It doesn't have to end this way, Ilara said, blood streaming from a gash across her forehead. Your kind and mine could coexist. Impossible. Your evolutionary path threatens all the we have built. Your independence is a deadliest. They ate muud enfct the perfect humanity. Then you've sealed your fate, Ilara replied, removing the quantum disruptor from her pack. Humanity will not go quietly into extinction. Neither shall we, the Overmind answered as tendrils of energy began to gather around the crystal. Ilara activated the disruptor's final sequence and slammed it against the crystal's surface. The device adhered instantly, its blue light pulsing in counterpoint to the crystal's rhythm. Ghost Squad, fall back, she shouted through the comm. Disruptor deployed. 2 minutes to detonation. Around the chamber, the surviving members of her team began a fighting retreat toward their entry point. The Krell, seemingly sensing what was about to happen, redoubled their attacks in desperate fury. Gekthel appeared at Ilara's side, mandibles clicking rapidly. Some of my kind deserve salvation, he said urgently. There is another way, a secondary evacuation route. Those who oppose the Overmind have gathered there. Ilara hesitated, torn between suspicion and the prospect of not condemning an entire species for the crimes of its leadership. "Show me," she finally decided. The evacuation route led to a hangar bay where a handful of Krell ships waited, smaller, older vessels not fully integrated with the neural network. Aboard them were hundreds of Krell dissidents and, miraculously, human prisoners, survivors from captured vessels who had been protected by the resistance. Among them was Captain Rodriguez of the Intrepid, emaciated but alive, eyes widening in shock at the sight of Ghost Squad. "Commander Reeves." "How?" "No time." Ilara cut him off, gesturing toward the hangar doors. "This entire station is about to become a quantum fireball. Everyone who wants to live, board now." Behind them, the station's corridors were already beginning to convulse as the quantum disruptor's effects spread through the neural network. Distant screams, both organic and mechanical, echoed through the structure. Ghost Squad helped load the survivors, human and Krell alike, onto the waiting ships. Ilara found herself working alongside Sekthal, the unlikely allies united by the simple desire to save lives in the midst of apocalypse. "Your weapon," Sekthal noted as they guided the last group aboard. "It targets the neural network, not organic matter directly. It was designed to sever the connection, not exterminate your species," Ilara confirmed. "Those Krell not directly connected to the network will survive. Perhaps both our kinds have something to learn about coexistence," the alien scientist mused. A violent tremor shook the station, nearly knocking them off their feet. The quantum reaction was accelerating, faster than they had anticipated. 30 seconds. Cooper warned from the ship's ramp, his face pale from blood loss, but expression alert. "Commander, we need to go now." Ilara gave a final look back at the station that had nearly become humanity's tomb, then boarded the ship. As the hangar doors opened to reveal the void beyond, a blinding light began to emanate from the station's core, the quantum disruptor reaching critical mass. The small fleet of refugee ships accelerated away just as the command station imploded, collapsing inward in a spectacular display of light and energy. Throughout the surrounding Krell armée, ships suddenly went dark or began moving erratically, their neural-linked crews severed from the Overmind's control. On the bridge of the lead ship, Ghost Squad watched in exhausted silence as the Krell Empire began to tear itself apart. "It's beautiful," Lieutenant Kira Chen whispered, her sniper's eye appreciating the distant ballet of destruction. "It's salvation," Dr. Okafor corrected, working methodically to stabilize their wounded. Ilara said nothing, her thoughts on the cost of their victory. Of the original 8 members of Ghost Squad, only 5 remained. Lieutenant Santos had died covering their retreat. Sergeant Petrov had sacrificed himself holding a choke point to allow others to escape. Commander Jiang might yet lose her remaining eye. But humanity would survive. The Krell Empire's expansion had been halted not through superior technology or numbers, but through the very independence and adaptability the Overmind had feared. As they set course for Artemis, Ilara drafted a simple message to be broadcast on all frequencies. To Admiral Kaito and the defenders of Artemis. "This is Ghost Squad. Operation Lazarus successful. The Krell neural network has been neutralized. We are inbound with survivors, both human and Krell dissidents seeking asylum." She paused, then added, "The war isn't over, but today humanity has earned its right to exist among the stars. We have proven that our greatest strength isn't in our weapons or our technology, but in our diversity of thought and our capacity to adapt." The transmission sent, Ilara finally allowed herself to sink into a seat, the adrenaline fading from her system to be replaced by bone-deep exhaustion. Beside her, Sekthal watched the stars with compound eyes that reflected the distant explosions of his former empire. "What happens now, Commander?" the Krell scientist asked quietly. Ilara considered the question, thinking of the challenges ahead: rebuilding humanity's colonies, establishing relations with Krell survivors, preparing for the inevitable conflicts that would follow the power vacuum they created. "Now," She replied with a tired smile, "We evolve. Together." In the void of space, the refugee fleet accelerated toward Artemis, carrying with them the seeds of a future neither species had imagined possible, one forged in the ashes of empire and the resilience of those who refused to accept extinction as their fate.